We're here for another lunchtime live stream, and I'm joined today by Liza Valdez. She is from the Pembroke Real Estate Residential Division, and she is the manager for all the social media for all their properties in Suffolk and Virginia Beach.
Hello.
So she has had a lot of experience creating social media accounts for these properties, basically from nothing, and creating content that gets people to want to move in and live in these properties. And we kind of come from similar backgrounds. I've actually known Liza for 10 years now.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. So we used to roll on the same bus stop, but kind of taught ourselves social media, and now we're doing it for a living. So definitely from super scratch. So that's nice. So today we're going to kind of talk about what you need to start an account, how to grow your audience, how to create content, and just everything you need to use social media to, get your brand out there and grow your business. So first things first, if you want to do social media, you got to dedicate a lot of time to it.
Yeah, you have to realize, if you have your head in so many other projects, that this alone is a project. You have to dedicate time and your projects to doing this.
Yeah, it's nice to have one dedicated person, or carving out time, making a schedule to do your social media. And if you need help, just call us at Array. We can help you with your social media as well. But a lot of things that can help with this is obviously making a calendar. There's a couple really good scheduling apps like Hootsuite and Buffer that are free. That'll really make social media a lot easier, but it takes a lot more than that, and it really starts with a strategy. So
Yeah.
You got to think how often are you going to be posting? What time are you posting? We actually have a video on our YouTube all about the best times to post on social media. Which is a good starting point, but once you kind of get rolling, you get a following, you get your audience engaging, you'll be able to look at the insights and analytics behind your Facebook and Instagram, and really see when your audience is engaged, and it really outlines how to do all that in that video. So check out that YouTube channel. Maybe Sean will drop a link to that video in the comments. I don't know if he heard my hint.
So I think the best platforms to use right now would be Facebook and Instagram. It's really based off of what type of demographics you're trying to attract. I know that Facebook, you kind of target a wide variety of age range, and with Instagram, you get that younger demographic. So these two platforms, I think, are the most successful when it comes to businesses. So we're going to start off with that.
Yeah. So Facebook, generally an older demographic, and when people come on Facebook, they like to see, faces they recognize and more personable content that they can relate to, or people they know, or inspiring stories and all that. But Instagram, that younger audience is looking for aesthetics. They're kind of more interested in what's cool rather than the personal connection. So that's something to keep in mind when you're making your strategy. So what do you kind of do when you're thinking of a strategy for the apartments?
I kind of outline what my goals are. So, of course, we want people to learn about who we are, what we do, and what makes us unique. So I kind of go with that, so that way I can use that for my content when I post things.
Yeah, it's definitely the goals, what do you want to achieve with this profile? Are you trying to get leads? Are you trying to get engagement? There's some profiles where obviously we're trying to get leads. Obviously, all the profiles we do want to get the businesses, customers, and stuff like that. But some things are more important than others. For one of my OBGYN Instagrams, for example, I kind of want to make it more general and relatable content for people outside of the area. So we post a lot about infertility and really specific diseases that women suffer to kind of get that engagement up and really get into that niche of people that are going to engage with our content.
Right. So it's based off of like what type of brand you're doing. So for me, I'm doing residential properties. I want to attract people who are looking to rent out a new apartment. So you kind of have to get an idea of like, okay, how do I attract those types of people? And with your social media accounts, you're kind of branding who you are just through your content of your photos. Some people curate the way they look. So it's based off what type of brand you're trying to advertise. So.
Yeah, but before you even get to the content, you got to first, of course, set up the profile. So for both platforms, Facebook and Instagram, just side note, YouTube is really untapped. It is a really interesting social. We've tried it for a few businesses. We have one ourselves, obviously. It's kind of a whole nother animal. And just for the sake of time and usefulness, we're going to stick to the main Facebook and Instagram because those are the ones that do work best for business and a really good place to start. So for both platforms, you're going to want high quality images for profile pictures that fit the dimensions.
Yes. And I've seen so many Facebook pages that have like their logo in their profile picture and it's like so skewed or pixelated. So the good thing about it is you can Google dimensions online and figure out what works best for that. So it looks clear, crisp, and high res.
Yeah, the crispness is important, but also definitely those dimensions. And just like, I've had profiles where they're like off center, which like gets my OCD, or like completely cut off, which doesn't help your brand at all. And you also want to make sure it's clear enough and simple enough to be able to be seen in that really tiny, especially on Instagram, it's like microscopic. So just make something that's recognizable, simple, in like the smallest little thumbnail format.
Right.
And for the information and your bios and the about us, they're a little different for each platform. Obviously, you want to be thorough. You want to let people know what your brand is. But for Facebook, you can provide a lot more information that's longer, and you can inject a lot of keywords. Whereas Instagram, it's
you only have a limited characters.
Yeah, limited characters, and a lot of it is not gonna come up when people search. Like, all the stuff you put in your bio isn't really searchable.
Right. So
one thing I've learned that's been really useful is not your username. Obviously, the business categories are really important for searchability as well. So the name, not your username, but the actual profile name, is one of the only searchable pieces of text within your Instagram profile. So, for example, for arrays, instead of saying Array Digital again, we just put digital marketing agency and website designers, because if people are searching, website designers will come up, and that way it's just using the space you have, the very limited space on Instagram, to make yourself even more findable.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like she has like luxury apartments for one of the complexes that they do, Park 216, right there in the name. So if people are, and I think it's actually luxury apartments in Suffolk. So if people are looking for like Suffolk apartments or like luxury apartments, like they will find that.
Right.
Which that's really crucial. And as far as the bio in Instagram, like with Facebook, you can do like a whole novella. Like
you can do your history, your story.
And I think that's really crucial for Facebook, because you want to have that personal connection. You just got to remember, like, Facebook is all about personal connection.
Right.
While Instagram, it's a little more, people are just like going past. It's got to be quick. It's got to be cute. It's got to be aesthetic. So
you got to be creative with that one.
Yeah. Like I like to do like little emoji bullet points that are related to the business, and then just, that's kind of how you want to do your bio. You just want to have like 3 or 4 bullet points with the most important stuff in the beginning. And then one thing we like to do is have a special hashtag.
Yep. So if your business has like some sort of motto or slogan, you can do a hashtag. And then with this hashtag, you can use it for like contesting. So that way everything's sort of archived in that.
And we have for Array personally, we have in our bio the Journey to 100 Million hashtag, which is our podcast. So you can click that and see every post that anybody has posted about Journey to 100 million. Or we also have the Marketers Anon hashtag in there, which other people have used when they're at the event, and it kind of creates a sense of community within that hashtag. And people can even follow that hashtag and just see, like, I know yours is like Park 216, so the residents start using that, and you really get this sense of community within that hashtag. So that's really nice for Instagram. The biggest thing when you're setting up a profile is going to be your name. So a lot of names kind of exist in other areas. So you want to think, how do I set myself apart? And obviously first do a Google search.
Right.
And make sure that, nobody else has this name, and make it specific to your area and really short.
Yeah.
So even though we have a client, Batchelder and Collins, which obviously it's a very unique name, but it's really long.
I think people will remember that too.
I mean, they might have trouble spelling Batchelder,
Yeah.
So we just do 757 brick.
Right.
And that's
Short, concise, and
and
very
you know exactly.
memorable.
Yeah, you know exactly where it's located. And yeah.
That's happened to me with one of our properties, North Beach. There's another property in a different state, so I kind of had to add in VB at the end, so that way people understand it's in Virginia Beach. So, and then 757 is always like that area code that everyone knows, so that's a good one.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be our new name, but I don't know. So now that you kind of got a setup on your profile, it's time to start creating content. Like I mentioned before, Hootsuite and Buffer are really helpful to schedule the content. That way you don't have to memorize posting about stuff, because that gets to be a little much, especially when you're running a business.
Right.
When I'm creating content, we like to do a lot of themed stuff. So obviously Throwback Thursdays are a time for you to tell your history about your company, or post an old picture of employees or something like that. I do Feature Fridays, which are employee features, and you do Floor Plan Fridays.
You can do Floor Plan Friday. I've done Meet the Team. We like to do throwbacks.
Yeah.
So
I think especially on Facebook, the introducing of the team is really important, because it's nice on Instagram too, but I've found in my experience they work a little better on Facebook, because again, people like that personal connection on Facebook as opposed to the aesthetic audience on Instagram.
The one thing I do want to point out is, because this is a new social media page for you, don't get too caught up in the whole idea of, oh, I don't have enough likes on this post. Oh, I don't have enough followers. I think your first couple posts are really going to be about who you are, what you do, or what makes you unique. So I would post at least 5 to maybe 10 posts, just to give that sense of who you are as a business. And then now you can get into, all right, now I have to attract the right audience to get that engagement that you want.
Yeah, and with those first few posts, I use besthashtags.com, or even actually what I've been doing lately that I found works better is I'll type in the hashtag in Instagram that I'm looking for, and say, for example, I do it a lot with our OBGYN client, Mid-Atlantic Women's Care, and it works really well. So if I'm doing a post about infertility, I'll, search infertility, look at the top post, and then if they have a bunch of hashtags, I'll just copy a lot of those hashtags or take it from a few different posts, because those are working.
Yep.
And they've really, really done really well. And with the first few posts, you want to make sure you're doing that. You can kind of not hashtag as much later, but you want people to be able to find you. And I always do, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads, 757.
Yep.
So if people are searching within the area, for our play place, we do 757 play place, or things to do 757. So
hashtags do work, just saying.
Yeah. they're a little annoying, but usually I know with Buffer you can add a first comment, and that's kind of where I put the hashtags. Or in Hootsuite, I'll do the ... so it's not just flooding that caption, and people actually have to click more to see that wall of hashtags. But yeah, they seem to do well. Sometimes they don't work, but when they do work, they work really well. So other good content is videos, but you want to keep them short. you want to make people engaged within the first 10 to 15 seconds. So we kind of try to stick away from like putting the logo within the first like 3 to 5 seconds because people are already going to scroll past.
Video does help because when I was doing Park 216, we were actually just in a trailer, and we looked at what our competitors are doing on social media just to get an idea of like what the market's like through that. And we wanted to stand out a little bit just because we're building this apartment community from the ground up, and we wanted to attract that attention. So with Facebook, we did YouTube videos, and it just had the team talk about where we're located, what the next step is, and sort of like build that excitement up. So that way people are, when you see that the people in the videos are excited, then that vibe kind of relates to you, the person watching the video itself.
Yeah, especially with if your business includes like spaces or stuff like that. Like we manage a few properties, and it's nice to get those video tours and really put people in that space of seeing the property and in real time. And also, I'm not sure if you guys were doing this with your videos, but it's good to, on Facebook, you want a little bit longer videos. Anything over 3 minutes is going to be pushed out by Facebook. And also, instead of doing the link to the YouTube, unless you're trying to grow your YouTube channel, you're going to want to post it organically. And also, if you are trying to grow your YouTube channel, I would recommend posting a clip organically and then putting the link in the comments, not in the caption, because that'll draw people away. And also, Facebook won't push it as hard because they're like, oh, you have a link? Getting people out of Facebook? No, we want them to stay here. So post videos organically. Instagram, keep them short. Facebook a little longer, but just make sure those first 15 to 30 seconds are going to make people stick around.
Right.
As we mentioned before, employee features are good. Like they just add a personal level, which is good for Facebook, and they seem to do really well. Those are always my most successful posts with clients.
I think it kind of creates like a relatability. Like we're all human, when we're working for a business, we don't just represent the business itself. We all have our own personalities that kind of come through when you describe someone online.
Yeah, especially with like managing properties. You want to make it seem like, you're not just the person taking their rent.
Right. Yeah. And, sometimes it just helps that you can relate to someone on a different level. Mm-hmm. So.
And I haven't done too many. I've done a few contests, but I know you guys do them a lot for Park 216. So if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the contesting really does help engagements on our social media pages. I do it on Instagram and Facebook. When I first started the Facebook page, we didn't have too many people following us. So the contest kind of gave us more of that. We got more attention just because who doesn't love free things?
Yeah.
So with that said, we have a great relationship with our partners who trade us concert tickets. And I think one of the biggest accomplishments was Something in the Water. So that was the first festival last year, and that was it was drawing a lot of attention. So we were able to give away those tickets. We did something special for that because we kept on building that anticipation. All right, we're going to go live on Facebook at 10 o'clock on this day. So within like that week, we kept on promoting, hey, we're going live. And then I remember the staff for the apartments would mention that to people who would come into the rental office. So we kept on pre-promoting that, and we did it on Facebook Live, so that way we can really attract people.
Yeah, like making the picking of the winner like an event instead of, like we did one for Motor World, and it was kind of just like a mention in the comments, like, hey, you won. But I like the idea of actually drawing the winner a huge event and making people tune in to see if they win. So that's, and it was fun because we
had a bowl, and everyone's names that were entered in on Facebook, we were able to pick the name, and we showed who won. So it's real. Yeah. Yeah, building that anticipation with any content is really crucial too. If you can do that, that's great. So while you're building content, you got to have an audience to actually look at it. We talked a little bit about hashtags.
And for me personally, when I'm first starting an account, at least on Instagram, I can follow similar accounts or people that are following similar accounts to me, that might be interested in my content. Just make sure you have a few posts up first so they can kind of look and see, oh, who is this? Why would I want to follow them? And actually, you had a really good recommendation of like not only following people who follow similar accounts, but following people that actually engage with that account.
Yeah. I mean, to be very competitive, you can look at who your competitors are and who their top followers are. It doesn't really work for me because I'm not going to follow a resident who follows. So, but it's based off your business. So it's, for example, like if you're a fitness center and there's like, I don't know, an influencer that promotes healthy living and all that stuff. So you would promote or you would follow them. And influencers are a good tactic to get more attention to your social media pages. But doing the research on who's the best qualified for that would be necessary.
Yeah, and just whenever, as you're building your audience and people are engaging, just be really appreciative of that and make sure to respond and be interactive to encourage more engagement. And I think the algorithms really like when they see you're responding or you're commenting on other accounts. That's something else I do.
Oh yeah, that's actually helped a lot.
Yeah.
When you comment on other accounts using your business profile, people kind of like, who's that? And they do their research. So they do work, I have to say.
I mean, my favorite part of the internet is the comments. So I'm always looking through the comments. And I mean, when you're building your audience, like low-key, you just have to like stalk and just look at everybody's followers, look at everybody's comments, just be kind of a creep. So it helps.
It does.
And I mean, most importantly, just to wrap it up, you just got to know what works for you, which will take a little bit to kind of figure that out. And you'll want both accounts, Facebook and Instagram. But after I think maybe like 2-3 months, you'll really figure out where your audience is mostly, and you'll want to focus your energy there. But you know, keep kind of posting on both accounts. Luckily, with schedulers and even Instagram, you can just post directly to Facebook, and schedulers, you can kind of just put the same stuff out on both profiles just to keep your face out there, but really focus your attention on what's working for you.
Yeah, and just remember that this really represents your image online. So even if if Instagram's not really working for you, you're still branding yourself. So ultimately, it works in your benefit.
Yeah, and don't forget about your website too, because that's going to be, even when your audience is on Instagram, they're going to go to your website to find out, or Facebook too. They're going to go to your website to find out where you're located, what your services are, where to contact you. So make sure that website's good. And you were mentioning you can actually use the Google Analytics from the website to kind of better target your audience too.
So if you have a website that has been existing for a while, you can gather data from your Google Analytics page to kind of capture like who is visiting your website, because these people are the ones that are really engaged with your brand. So as you move forward with like social media ads on Facebook or Instagram, you can do a target audience on those specific demographics. So that way you're really capturing the type of people who are interested.